Hashem yichud kun shavrichu u'shchinte.
My favorite synagogue in the whole world is a very, very special and unique synagogue. It's the largest synagogue in the whole world. It's the Belzer Synagogue of the Belzer Hasidim in Kiryat Belz, Jerusalem. And what I love about this shul is that it is, first of all, it's huge and it's magnificent. So when you pray there, you really get a bit of a sense, a bit of a taste of what it would be like and what God willing it will be like to pray at the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. What I personally love the very, very most is I love being in the women's section with these Belzer moms. These are women who carry themselves with such dignity and with such malchut, with such royalty, and this sense of dignity and pride comes from being Jewish moms and being Jewish wives and making Shabbos and raising Jewish children in good Jewish homes. I think that entering their women's section it's like immersing yourself in a mommy pep talk. So highly recommended if you live in Jerusalem or if you are going to be visiting Jerusalem. So this past Friday there was a really special event. The Belzer Hasidim opened up their doors to the public and they had a guided tour. So 8:30 on Friday morning, I went for this guided tour, and the guide told us an amazing, amazing story. He told us that in Europe, before the war, the old Belzer Rebbe, he decided that they would build a new shul in Belz, and everything, the shul was all ready. And the men were very, very eager to move in to start praying there. There's only one problem. The women's section wasn't yet ready. And the Rebbe said, no way. He said, there's no way. He said, if the women aren't going to be able to pray there, he said, I'm not praying there. He said, praying without the women is a futile exercise because it's in the merit of the women. It's in the merit of the women's prayers and of their intense prayer that all of our prayers are going to go up. So you're like, without them, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to work. So I love that story. And to give you a sense of just how seriously the Belzers take their women's section, in the Belzer shul, there are 6,000 seats. Yes, 6,000. And it's broken up 3,500 seats for men and 2,500 seats for women. So I'm sure that 2,500 seats is the largest by far women's section in the whole world. But I'm not so good at math, but I did a little bit of math, and I realized that there's about 1,000 women missing. If we're assuming that that the population is pretty evenly divided between men and women, so there's 1,000 women less than men. So that the fact that there's 1,000 missing women shouldn't come as a mystery to anybody watching this video, because we are the missing 1,000. We, the mothers of young children, we're the missing 1,000. We're the women who, if we get to shul, it's probably not so frequently or for not such long extended periods of time. This past week, I got a letter from one of the missing 1,000. I got a letter, and the woman writes, "Dear Hannah, maybe you can give me some advice." Said, someone asked me recently what I'm going to do for Rosh Hashanah. And I answered, I said, what Rosh Hashanah? I'm not going to have a Rosh Hashanah this year. I have two young children, and I'm going to be home with them, and I'm going to be, taking care of them all the time, and running after them, and preparing food for my family and for our guests, and setting the table. I'm not going to have a Rosh Hashanah this year. Okay, so I think that this letter, it expresses in a very, very powerful way, and maybe even an extreme way, what I think on some level the vast majority of us are feeling and are going to feel in Rosh Hashanah. I think for almost all mothers of young children, the way that we're going to experience Rosh Hashanah doesn't exactly match what an ideal Rosh Hashanah would be. None of us, I think, are going to be spending hours and hours and hours in shul in total concentration and totally connecting with God in some sort of state of spiritual ecstasy. No. I think the vast majority of us, if we get to shul at all, and some of us won't, if we get to shul at all, then we're going to be, either we're going to be, with our little kids, so we're going to be a little bit taking care of them while we're praying, or we're going to sort of rush in and stay for a little bit and then rush out. So most of us are going to be spending our Rosh Hashanah, mostly, in our living room, reading stories to our kids on the living room sofa, or on the park bench, hanging out with other moms and taking care of our children, or we're going to be, in our kitchen, getting all the many, many meals we're responsible for serving ready. I thought about this case. I thought about us, the missing thousands, and our Rosh Hashanah, when our tour guide at the Belzer Shul told us something else, something very, very interesting about the shul. That the man who leads prayers for these 6,000 people, and also the prayer, it's amazing. It's like hearing at the Belzer Shul, hearing them say the Kedusha during the Shemona Esrei prayer. I felt as though I was hearing the angels in heaven. It was so unbelievable, just an amazing, amazing sound of so many people praying together. An incredibly uplifting experience. So what he said about the person leading those 6,000 people in prayer was that he doesn't pray up high, unlike the bima up high. In fact, what they did is they constructed this shul in a way so that there's a small pit where the prayer leader stands. Why? Because the Torah teaches us, mina ma'amakim karatiyah, from the depths I will call out to you. I'm sorry, from Psalms, from Tehillim. So mina ma'amakim karatiyah, from the low places I will call out to you. And Chassidut, in Chassidic thinking, we learn that the person that you want leading your prayers, Rabbi Nachman teaches this, the person that you want leading your prayers isn't necessarily some sort of holy person living in total serenity with no problems and a perfect connection with God. No. Because the person that you want leading your prayers is the person who's coming from a difficult place. The person who comes to prayer with a bit of a broken heart. The person who's experiencing a bit of a low period, let's say, in their lives, and just is going to call out with such incredible yearning to God. And I thought that when I heard about the prayer leader being in this low place, I was thinking, that all of us moms, the missing thousand, probably most of us are going to be in a bit of that low place on Rosh Hashanah. I heard an amazing story from Rabbi Pinkus Zatzal. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. He tells a story about Yom Kippur. One Yom Kippur. It was one Yom Kippur. He was standing in shul. He leads the prayers in shul. And he was praying on his feet, while fasting, of course, the whole day. And it was an amazing day of prayer and such heartfelt, and, everyone, the whole congregation was so into it and so moved and so, worked up about the prayer. And he said when they got to the final prayer service, the Ne'ilah, the sun's going down, and he sensed that the prayers of the entire community had risen up to heaven, but they were stuck. They were stuck behind a locked door, behind a locked gate. And at that moment, he says, I knew that there was a young mother in our community, and she's sitting on her sofa with 2 young children, with a baby and 2 young children. And she's sitting with them, she has a bottle in one hand and a mopser that she's barely opened up the whole day in the other. And at the same time, she's holding her screaming baby, and she hasn't gone to shul the whole day, and she just feels like it's just at the end of this long day, and she's fasting and been taking care of everyone the whole day. At that moment, a tear streams down her cheek, and at that moment, that tear falls off her cheek and it goes right up to heaven, and that tear is the key that opens that gate to heaven for the entire community. And all of the prayers of the entire community go up to God in the merit of that one tear, of that one mother, that one member of the missing thousand. So I want to bless all of us at this coming Rosh Hashanah, whether we're at shul, or we're on our living room sofa taking care of our children, or on the park bench watching our children, or in the kitchen, as we will spend a lot of time in the kitchen this Rosh Hashanah, that we will take some minutes to open up our hearts and open up our mouths in sincere prayer to God. And that we should know that our little prayer, our few minutes of prayer, are just as precious in God's eyes as the prayers of the man leading the prayers from that low place, from that pit at the Belzer Shul in Kiryat Belzer in Jerusalem. I want to bless everyone with an amazing Rosh Hashanah and an amazing year.